Hey Dirt Magicians! Building a tomato trellis that is sturdy, that doesn't collapse, that doesn't injure the tomatoes or tangle them up is a challenging task. And there's really not a whole lot of pre-made ones that are reliable that you can buy off the shelf in the market. And this is why I've invited Ashton, one of our Growville gardeners, to come over and to help me build a tomato trellis using just lumber and string, but to make it durable so that I can use it over the years. Ashton's built a whole lot of really cool trellises in his own garden, and you might have seen this from one of our most popular videos on the Dirt Magicians channel called 8 DIY Trellis Ideas. And so this is why Brie and I have invited him over to help us build a tomato trellis for my garden. So Ashton, what are we building today?
All right, so we're gonna build a trellis above the tomatoes. It's gonna be a strong wooden vertical brace, and we're gonna attach a string to the top of it and to the bottom of the tomatoes, and we're gonna wrap it around the trunk or the leader of the tomato as they grow. What's great about this method is if your vine gets too tall, you can do what's called the lower and lean method, where you release the tension on the string and you allow the tomato to grow on an angle.
Oh, cool. So this means I can get much bigger height on my tomatoes, which just means more tomato production. So Ashton, what materials do we need to build this trellis?
4 2x1 inch pieces of lumber, 1 1x4 inch piece of lumber, wood screws, a drill, a saw, although you can always get your wood cut at a hardware store if you measure in advance, and jute twine or string. Step 1. Using the 2x1, measure and mark how tall you want the trellis to be above the tomatoes. We want to make sure you can reach a D, so let's make it 6.5 feet tall. Step 2. Cut the 2x1 so that it's 6.5 feet long. Step 3. Measure the width of the bed and cut the 4x1 to be the same width of the bed, which was 2 feet across for us. Step 4. Mark the center of the 4x1 and drill the newly cut 4x1 onto the top of the 1x2. If the screws stick out, just hammer them so they aren't pointy. Step 5. Make another T-shaped post for the other side of the garden bed. Step 6. Attach the post to the garden bed. At the end of the garden bed, push the newly made post all the way down into the garden soil. If this was a wood bed, I'd attach it to the outside of the bed, but since this is a Rubbermaid container, we're gonna bury it into the soil and then screw it into the Rubbermaid container and the post. Once the post has been pushed down all the way, drill 2 holes into the Rubbermaid and post. Step 7. Attach the other post the same way.
All right, let us know in the comments below about what kind of garden bed you have, and we can help you adapt this tomato trellis to your bed. Also, the thing that you should know about Ashton is that he was a part of our Growville pilot 3 years ago. He joined when he was 19 years old, and at that time, he hadn't put a single seed in the ground. And today, 3 years later, he has 6 garden beds, grows an abundance of food for his family of 5, has a greenhouse, and he's also become a teacher for beginner gardeners and is now running a teaching garden every single month. His teaching garden is a place where he is leading beginner gardeners to learn through hands-on experience of growing both vegetables as well as companion plants and pollinator-friendly flowers. His next teaching garden is about pest and disease management. And what's amazing about Ashton is in the last 3 years, he's been able to grow almost 6 beds of food completely organically without spraying to keep the pests and diseases out of his garden.
Yeah, Dee, that's thanks to everything Brie taught me about ecological pest and disease management.
And because this information has been so useful both to Ashton as well as his students in the teaching garden, we wanted to share it with others. So we made a mini course on pest and disease management done the ecological way, from identification to monitoring and control. If you want to access the course, you can check it out in the description box below. All right, now that the 2 posts are up, Ashton, what's next?
Step 8. Take these 2 2-inch by 1-inch pieces of lumber and cut them to the length of the bed. Then drill them to either post we made so that creates a crossbar. This will give us 2 crossbars above the tomatoes. You're also going to want to drill the like button in there for extra support if this video was helpful to you. Step 9. From here we will cut a piece of string that is double the length of the tomato from the crossbar to the soil. Then at the base of the plant, make a loose knot around the stem. You don't want it too tight as the tomato stem needs to widen as it grows. Then wrap the string around the tomato plant and secure it at the top wood brace. Use a slip knot to attach it so that you can add or loosen tension as the tomato grows. Step 10, we will do this for the rest of the tomatoes, and your trellis is good to go.
Wow, that looks really amazing. Thank you for building me this amazing, awesome trellis. But how much did all of the materials cost?
Each piece of lumber was about $7 to $10, plus the jute string and the wood screws. Total came to around 50 bucks, and we had lots of leftover wood screws and string for other projects.
We've listed all of the materials and the associated cost in the description box below, so make sure to check that out. And Dirt Magicians, if you're interested in other unique trellis ideas, both built by Ashton as well as other gardeners, then do check out our most popular video, 8 unique DIY trellis ideas by other gardeners. So you can click here and watch that video.